Okay, students. So far we have discussed what microorganisms are, their structures, the different groups of microorganisms, examples, and their beneficial as well as harmful effects. So you know all about microorganisms. Now we will discuss the questions. First, the questions from your textbook. Grade 9, Unit 1, exercise. So have you all already answered the questions? If not, first you answer the question by yourself and then listen to the discussion. So now I am going to start with the first question. Select the correct or most suitable answer. So either it will be correct or the most suitable one. So these are known as multiple choice type questions. You are familiar with those questions. The first one, a group of autotrophic microorganisms. What is the meaning of autotrophic? They produce their own food. So if they produce their own food, they should have chlorophyll. They should be able to do photosynthesis. So now if we look at the organism. Now viruses, they don't even have a cellular structure. They show living and non-living characteristics. So they are not autotrophic. Then fungi are all heterotrophic. Algae has chlorophyll. You can remember Ulva, Chlamydomonas, Pyrogyra, they all have chlorophyll. So they can do photosynthesis. Then Protozoa again, they are heterotrophic. So the correct answer will be algae. A group of autotrophic microorganism is algae. Then the next one. Toxic chemicals produced in the body of a microbe to destroy or sabotage another microorganism is called as, what is that? You know the answer. It is the antibiotic. Toxic chemicals produced in the body of a microbe to destroy or sabotage another microorganism is called as antibiotic. If we look at the answers. Now, what is antibodies? Antibodies are the chemicals, substances produced inside our body. When a pathogen enters our body tries to fight it. So, in blood, by the WBC, that is the white blood cells, a substance called the antibodies are produced to fight against those pathogens. So, that is antibodies. Then the second one, antinutrients. Now, have you heard of this term, antinutrients? Why do you eat food? To get all the nutrients. So, in food, there is carbohydrate, protein, lipid, vitamins and minerals. Those are the nutrients. There are some substances that is also there in food. They act as anti-nutrients. That means they don't allow or they reduce the ability of our body to absorb certain nutrients. For example, now iodine is a mineral that is necessary for our body. Vegetables like cabbage, broccoli, they reduce the absorption of iodine by our body. So, the cabbage is an anti-nutrient. It's not the full cabbage. The chemical substance present in cabbage reduces the absorption of iodine. So, that is an anti-nutrient. You should know what this term means. Then we have antiseptics. Now, antiseptics are also used against microbes. You use antiseptic lotions, antiseptic creams to clean your wounds or clean your hand, even the hand sanitizers. Those are all antiseptics. But that is only for external use. That is used to destroy microorganisms, but it is used externally only. So, antibiotics are the substances that are toxic chemicals produced in the body of a microbe to destroy or sabotage another microorganism is called as antibiotics. So, you know the meanings of all these answers. Then the third one. Some characteristics of viruses are given below. So, you know it is the virus. No cellular organization. Is that correct? Yes, it is not a cell structure. Multiply only in living cells. That is also correct. So, this is correct, this is correct. Do not show the living characteristics such as respiration and growth. That is also correct. They only can divide or multiply inside living cells. That is their only living characteristics in addition to causing diseases. They don't show respiration or growth. So, all these characters are correct. So, the correct statements of the above are. So, that is what we have to select. A and B, A and C, B and C. Since all are correct, it has to be A, B and C. So, there's no way you can go wrong here, no? Did you all get it correct? Yes. So, then we will move on to the next slide. A disease caused by bacteria. So, here a disease caused by bacteria. Malaria, what causes malaria? A protozoa. So, this is by a protozoa. Then what about tuberculosis? Yes, it is a bacterial disease. Rabies, it's virus. And what causes the last one, Ebola? That is also virus. So, tuberculosis is a disease caused by bacteria. Then the last one, fifth question. The technology used to remove the environmental pollutants by applying microorganisms is known as. This is something you know. What do we call it? The bioremediation. We'll look at the answers. Biocontrol. What is biocontrol? Can you remember the example? Bacillus thuringiensis is used to destroy the larval stage of dengue mosquito, the vector. So, that is a biological control. Controlling a living organism using another living organism. Then biodegradation. The microorganism decomposing the other organic waste materials or even biodegradable plastic. We saw bacteria can degrade or decompose biodegradable plastic. So, that is biodegradation. Then bioremediation, that is this. The technology used to remove the environmental pollutants by applying microorganisms is known as bioremediation. Then what is this fourth one? Bioleaching. Extracting metals like uranium and copper from low-grade ores using microorganisms. That is bioleaching. So, here the answer is bioremediation. So, those are the MCQ type questions where you need to select the correct answer or the most suitable answer. So, with that, now I am going to move on to the next question. Second question, state whether the following statements are true or false. So, you have to say whether they are correct or wrong. Antibiotics are any chemical substance that is used to destroy or deactivate microorganisms. Is that correct? Is it any chemical substance? No. It is a chemical substance that is produced by one microorganism to sabotage or destroy the function of another microorganism. So, we can't say any chemical substance. That is wrong. So, because of that, this statement is false. Then the second one. The vaccine given for tetanus contains weakened bacterial toxins. Is that correct? That is correct. For tetanus, we use the toxin, we use antitoxin to produce the vaccine. So, here that is correct. The vaccine given for tetanus contains weakened bacterial toxins. So, this is a correct statement. Then the third one. Viruses are pathogens that display both living and non-living characteristics. That of course you know for sure it is correct. Then the fourth one. Most microbes in the environment are unfavorable to living beings. Now here look at the sentence carefully. Most microbes. Is that true? No. Why? You have seen algae, they are photosynthetic. So they don't do any harmful effects. Then we saw that the bacteria and also fungus, they are very, very useful in many different ways. Even the decomposing of organic matter. So they are very useful. The harmful effects are there. What are those? Food spoilage, creating or causing diseases, causing effects to non-living components. Those are the harmful effects. But most microbes in the environment are not unfavorable. They are favorable. So, because of that, this statement is also false. Then the fifth one. Rhizobium bacteria found in the root nodules of legume plants fix atmospheric nitrogen. Is that correct? Yes. Now, Rhizobium, you know, is a symbiotic bacteria. They live in the root nodules and they fix nitrogen. So, that is a correct statement. So, did you all get all these correct? I am sure you would have got it correct. Then with that, we will move on to the next one. Answer the following questions. So, the questions are given. Name 3 industries based on microbial activity. Explain 2 instances where microorganisms are used in the medical field. Mention 3 instances where microbes are used in environmental conservation. Then write 3 good health habits that could minimize infections caused by microorganisms. And the last one, state 3 strategies used in agriculture to minimize infections caused by microorganisms. So, you have to write the answers for all these questions. First, I will move on to the first question. Answer the following questions. Name 3. Now, here you have to see how many they are asking. Name 3 industries based on microbial activity. You know a lot of industries. What are they? Production of dairy products, production of biogas, production of alcohol, production of vinegar. So, even pharmaceutical industries. You can write any 3. So, here I will say coir industry, then pharmaceutical industry, and we can say manufacture of dairy products. You can write any 3 industries. Then explain 2 instances where microorganisms are used in the medical field. What are the 2 instances? Here they say explain 2 instances. So, you can remember one is antibiotic, the other one is vaccination and also antitoxin. You have to write about 2 instances. So, first we will take antibiotics. So, what does this antibiotic do? Antibiotic is a chemical substance produced by one microorganism to destroy or sabotage another microorganism. So how do we use this? We use it once you get a disease to get rid of the microorganism or as a preventive measure. So we can write that as well. It is used as cure or preventive measure to bacterial and fungal infection. Because you cannot treat viral infections with antibiotics. That is one. Then we have to write another one. So we can talk about vaccines. So then the second one, this is the first one. Then the second one is vaccine. Now vaccine is produced from what? Either the microorganism, part of the microorganism, it will be either weakened or dead, or the toxin of the microorganism. Vaccine produced from dead or weakened microorganism or part of its body or its toxin. And why do we take vaccination? To prevent the disease. Taken to prevent disease. So that is how you have to explain this. So you can see we have explained antibiotic and vaccine. You can also explain antitoxin. Then how do you write? Antitoxin, again it's produced by a microorganism against the host. Inside the host, it secretes a toxin that is harmful to the host. So by taking this toxin and removing the toxic compound, they can produce antitoxins. So that is also possible. You can write that as well. So with that, I will move on to the next question. The third question, mention 3 instances where microbes are used in environmental conservation. So I am sure you know the answers. You have written them down. You have to write 3 instances. What are they? Normally we need microorganisms to decompose organic garbage. The same way, if there is organic garbage or organic substances in polluted water, you can use microorganisms to decompose it. So that is one use. Remove organic waste from water body. That is one. What is another one you can think of? To decompose the hydrocarbons in oil layer on the surface of ocean water. So that is also another application. Remove oil layer from ocean water. What else can you think of? There are many other uses. Removing heavy metals like arsenic, mercury, all those from water, polluted water. Oils to decompose degradable plastic. For that also we use microorganisms. So here you can write any one. Since I have written removal of organic waste from water body and remove oil layer from ocean water, I will write decomposing of biodegradable plastic. So these are the different applications of microbes in environmental conservation. You can write any 3 instances. Then I will move on to the next question. Write again 3 good health habits that could minimize infections caused by microorganisms. So here again, you know, infections can enter your body either through air, through your digestive system, through touch. So how can you avoid it or minimize it? By following good habits. You have to wash your hands before you have your meal. You have to wash it very thoroughly. Another thing, after you use the toilet, again you have to wash your hands with soap and water. That is all related to hygiene. Having a bath when you go out and come, always being clean and hygienic. That helps to minimize infections. In addition to that, you know, mosquitoes and flies usually bring these, they act as vectors. They bring the pathogen to us. So if you can remove breeding sites of both mosquito and flies, then also we can reduce the spread of infectious diseases. So write 3 good health habits that could minimize infections caused by microorganisms. So here they have asked good health habits. So it has to be related to you. Removal of breeding sites, it is a good procedure but not a health habit. So here we can write wash hands before consuming food. Then the next one, wash hands with soap and water. After using the toilet. So again, another thing you can say, when you touch objects, don't touch your face or your nose or mouth with your hand all the time. So that is also a good practice. Don't touch your face frequently, we'll say. Frequently with your hands. So by doing these processes, even I told you all, having a bath after you go out and come back home, every time you come back, if you have a wash, then you are clean. So being clean and hygienic can reduce infections. The next one, we will look at the question. State again 3 strategies used in agriculture to minimize infections caused by microorganisms. So you know when we say agriculture, those are plants. Now can you recall the microorganism that causes infections to plants? I told you all mainly it is the fungus. In addition to that, virus also causes diseases, but mainly the fungus. So if we can prevent fungal infection, then we can minimize the infections in agriculture. So what do they do? You can use fungicide. One thing, the fungicide can be sprayed to the agricultural crop so the fungus does not grow on the crops or the plants. That is one way. Otherwise, when the field is being prepared for cultivation, they can add the fungicide to the soil, they can mix it with soil, allow the soil like that to remain for few days, and after that they sow the seeds. So then the plants grow. So while preparing the field itself, they can add the fungicide to the soil. That also prevents fungal infection. Another method is to add ash. That is a natural method. It has been followed from a very long time. Adding ash. Ash with soil prevents fungal infections or reduces fungal infection. At the same time, what they can do is they can use things like the rice hulls or the hay that can burn quickly. They put it over the soil of the field and then they burn those. When they burn, you know there will be ash. And this ash is mixed with the soil and again it acts to prevent the microbial infections. Those are different ways. Similar to that, by controlling water or what they call as water management, some infections can be reduced by filling the field, the agricultural land with excess water and allowing the water to evaporate under direct strong sunlight. With that, the microorganisms can be eradicated from the field. Or else for some infections, they reduce the amount of water. So that also can be used to remove infections. So those are different methods. Here they have asked for 3 strategies used in agriculture to minimize infections caused by microorganisms. So the first one I can say spray fungicide with the same thing. I will include the addition of fungicide to soil during preparation. Or add fungicide to soil during the preparation of cultivation land. What is the other one? We need to write 3. Again, add or mix ash with soil. Or the other method, what is it? Use hay or husk that can burn easily to provide ash to soil. The third strategy, we can say water management. Water management. So here I can say excess water or less amount of water. So here students, if you look at the questions, they have not asked you to explain the processes. So you don't have to go into lot of detail. If you specify what is used, the 3 strategies used in agriculture to minimize infections caused by microorganisms, that is more than enough. So you can see I have written the minimum possible. You can even write it shorter than this. That is okay. You don't have to explain each process. So with that, I will move on to the next question. So now the extra question 1. Underline the most suitable answer. So the first one. A group of microorganisms that doesn't show characteristics like respiration and growth is. You know the answer. It has to be virus. Fungus, bacteria, virus. The second one. Bacteria used in the manufacture of dairy products. You know the dairy products. What is used there for the production of yogurt? We said lactobacillus and streptococcus. Answers, mucor. Where do you find mucor? It grows on bread. So not dairy product. Lactobacillus bulgaricus, that is correct. Then Vibrio cholerae, you know from the name, it causes cholera, a disease. Then the third question. Protozoan that uses cilia for locomotion. So what is the protozoan? You know the different examples. Amoeba is a protozoan. It uses pseudopodia. Euglena is also a protozoan. It uses flagella. Then paramecium is the protozoan that uses cilia for locomotion. So that is paramecium. Then the fourth one, microorganism that causes malaria. You can remember the microorganism. What is that? It's Plasmodium. It is a protozoan. So Plasmodium, that is the first one. What about Euglena? Euglena has chlorophyll. It can do photosynthesis. So it doesn't cause diseases. Bacillus thuringiensis, we have discussed that with controlling the larval stage of dengue mosquito. So that is also not the causative agent. So it is Plasmodium. So were you all able to answer these questions correctly? I am sure you can do it. Now we will move on to the next one under the same question. The fifth one, algal variety that is visible to the naked eye. So you have to look at the question carefully. It is visible to the naked eye and it has to be an algal variety. Now Chlamydomonas, it's an algae, that's correct, but it is a unicellular algae. Mushroom is visible. You have seen mushrooms, you eat mushrooms, but it is a fungus. So it has to be ulva, that is correct. Why? Ulva is an algae, it has a thallus body structure and you can see it with the naked eye. So that is the answer. Algal variety that is visible to the naked eye is ulva. Then the sixth one, bacteria that lives in the root nodules of pea plant. So bacteria, root nodule, pea plant means legume plant. What is that? It has to be Rhizobium. Bacillus thuringiensis, again related to what? Controlling the larval stage of dengue mosquito. Then Rhizobium is correct. Acetobacter. Now Acetobacter, you can remember that also can fix nitrogen. But that is a free living bacteria. You can remember that. So because of that, the answer is Rhizobium. Then the seventh question. chemicals produced in the body of a microbe to destroy or sabotage another microorganism are known as, you know the term, antibiotic. So, if you look at the answers, antitoxins. What are antitoxins? Antitoxin are produced from the toxins produced inside the body of a host by the microorganism. When the microorganism enters the body of the host, the microorganism produces a toxin, that is a chemical substance. By removing that toxic substance, they try to produce antitoxins. So, that is antitoxin. Then antibiotic is correct. Chemicals produced in the body of a microbe to destroy or sabotage another microorganism are known as antibiotics. Then what are vaccines? We have discussed this. They are either the microorganism dead or weakened or part of the body of the microorganism modified by genetic engineering or the toxin of the microorganism. So, that is used to prevent the occurrence of a disease, that is vaccine. Then the question number 8. Antibiotic used against, so it has to be antibiotic used against bacterial infection. You know what antibiotics are? There are antibiotics for bacterial infection and fungal infection. Amoxicillin, it is for bacterial infection. That is correct. Tetracycline, amoxicillin, penicillin, all these are against bacteria. Griseofulvin, that is also an antibiotic, but antibiotic against fungal infection. Then what is paracetamol? Paracetamol is not an antibiotic. So, therefore, the answer is amoxicillin. Then we have the 9th question. Vaccines synthesized using toxins produced by pathogenic bacteria are known as, again we have discussed this with the previous question, they are antitoxins. Then you know what antibiotic is. An antiseptic is similar to antibiotic, but it is used only for the external usage, like the sanitizer, hand wash, antiseptic creams, antiseptic lotions. So, against the microbial activity, but for external use only. Then the 10th one, vaccines made from killed microbes is given against. So, you know there are 4 types of vaccines. From killed microbes, if we look at the answer, cholera. Cholera is correct. Cholera, the vaccine is produced from killed microbes. Then if you take hepatitis B, what is that made up of? It is made from the body parts of microorganisms that are produced by genetic engineering or modified by genetic engineering. That is hepatitis B. Then diphtheria, that is from the toxins of microorganisms, the vaccine is made. So, vaccines made from killed microbes is given against cholera. So, those are the answers for these questions. I am sure you have got them all correct. So, the same way, when I move on to the next slide also, you all write the answer first and then you listen to my discussion to make sure that you have written the correct answer. So, the next question, extra question 2. Write 2 features, so 2 features of the group of microorganisms given below. So, you are familiar with all the 5 microorganisms. You are able to write the features. So, algae, virus, protozoa, bacteria and fungus. I will start with algae. What are algae? They can be either unicellular or multicellular. They are unicellular or multicellular. And they can do photosynthesis, photosynthetic organisms. What else can you say? They have a single cell structure or a filamentous structure or a thallus body structure. And the algae that float on water and microscopic are known as phytoplanktons. And there are diatoms, Spirogyra, Chlamydomonas, different examples, and they are usually the food for or the beginning link of the food chain in aquatic environment because they can do photosynthesis. So those are the properties I have written to. You can write any two features. Then the second one, virus. Write two features of the groups of microorganisms. So for virus, a very common feature, what is it? They are electron microscopic. Electron microscopic. I am writing very short answers, not complete sentences. Electron microscopic, what's the other one? Show living and non-living features. So they show living and non-living features. So that is for virus. What else can you write? There is no cellular organization. They multiply only within a living cell and they do not show characteristics like respiration and growth. So those are all features of virus. Then the next one, protozoa. What can you say about protozoa? They are all unicellular and microscopic. They are all unicellular and microscopic. And another special feature, they use different structures for locomotion. Use different structures for locomotion. What are those structures? Cilia, pseudopodia, flagella. You can write those as well if you like. So as I said, I am writing the main point only in a very short form. Then if we take bacteria, what are the properties? Again, they are also unicellular and microscopic. Unicellular and microscopic. And how do you get these unicellular structures? They have different shapes. So they have different shaped cells. Can you remember the shapes? The bacillus like a rectangle shape, coccus like a circle. Then I told you all the comma-like structure like a spiral structure. Like that, there are many different shapes. You don't have to go into detail. Just remember their property. And they are all unicellular and microscopic. And they can live in any type of environment on Earth. The favorable environment as well as the hostile environment. Then we have the fungus. Fungus, what are the properties? Are they unicellular or multicellular? They are unicellular or multicellular, both. Unicellular, you can remember the yeast. Yeast is unicellular. And the others like mucus, mushroom, they are all multicellular. And what else? They thrive on moist surface. Thrive on moist surface or substrate. And also you can even say they have the filamentous structure. Like you can see fibers and bodies in mucus. So that is also another property of fungus. So those are the different properties. So they have asked you to write two features of the groups of microorganisms given below. you can write any two. Algae, unicellular or multicellular, they are photosynthetic organisms. Virus, electron microscopic, and they show living and non-living features. Then protozoa, they are unicellular and microscopic, use different structures for locomotion. Bacteria, unicellular and microscopic, they have different shaped cells. They are unicellular, so different shaped cells. And fungus, again, they can be unicellular or multicellular, and they thrive on moist surface. So those are the properties. Were you able to write them down? Okay. Even if you have written other properties, that is also okay. Then the next one. Extra question 3. Identify the group of each microorganism given below. So here you need to identify the group. So even if you know the specific name, don't write that. Write the name of the group. So what is this first one? Looking at the cell, you can see it is a bacteria. What is this? It is Saccharomyces or yeast. But what should you write? The group name. What is that? Fungus. So you have to say this is a fungus. Then what is this? This is Euglena. So what is that? It is a protozoa. Protozoa. Then this one. Now look at the structure, like a certain crystal shape. So you know it is a virus. No proper cellular organization. Here also you can see, you know the structure, that is also a virus. Then what is this? You can see the green color. Lightly you can see the flagella there. One cell, Chlamydomonas. It is an algae. You don't write Chlamydomonas because you have to write the group. It is an algae. Then what is this? You can see the filamentous structure and the spiral nature. It's Spirogyra, but that is also an algae. So we have to write it as algae. So those are the groups of each of the microorganisms. Now there is no confusion in this, no. You all can easily identify them. Bacteria, fungus, protozoa, the two virus and the two algae. So I am sure you got everything right. Then I will move on to the next one. Extra question 4. Write the habitats of microorganisms. Very easy. They live everywhere. So what should you write there? You can say air, water, soil, in and on other living organisms and extreme environment. So they live in all the common environment, air, water and soil, where all the other organisms live, and they live inside and on the surface of other living organisms and also in extreme environments. You can also call it hostile environment. So those are the habitats of microorganisms. Then the next question, write 3 beneficial effects of microorganisms in environment equilibrium. What are the beneficial effects of microorganisms? Remove organic pollutants from water. To decompose oil layer from ocean surface. What else? To remove heavy metals from polluted water and also to decompose biodegradable plastic. So there are 4 beneficial effects in environment equilibrium. You can write any 3. So I will say the first one, decompose oil layer from ocean water. Then the second one, remove toxic heavy metals from polluted water. And the last one, decompose biodegradable plastic. So those are 3 beneficial effects of microorganisms in environment equilibrium. Then the next question. Write the features of microorganisms that make them useful in economically important large-scale production. Now we have discussed many features. Can you recall all those features? Yes. What is the first one? I can remember. They have high rate, or you can even say rapid rate of growth and metabolism. Then what else? There are many strains that can adapt and live in different substrates. There are many varieties, or what do you say, strains that can adapt to various substrates. What else? How can you get them? You can get them at a low cost or free of charge from the environment. So, can be obtained at a low cost or free of charge from the environment. Then what else? Do they need lot of electricity? No. So, less power consumption is needed. And what is the other one? They cause minimal harm to the environment. So, they cause minimal harm to the environment. So, those are the features of microorganisms that make them useful in economically important large-scale productions. High rate of growth and metabolism. There are many varieties or strains that can adapt to various substrates, can be obtained at a low cost or free of charge from the environment. They need less power consumption. That is, less power consumption is needed, and they cause minimal harm to the environment. So again, here students, you can see I have given the important points in a short manner because they have asked us to write the features. We don't need to explain a lot in detail. So I am sure you were also able to write all these answers. So with that, I will move on to the next one. Extra question 5. Connect the microorganism with the industrial processes given below. So for each industrial process or the product, there is a microorganism given to you. So then if we look at the first production of alcohol. So on the other side, we have Methanococcus, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, then Bacillus coccurus, Thiobacillus ferroxidans, and Lactobacillus bulgaricus. So for alcohol production, what is the microorganism? Can you remember this? This was given under extra knowledge. So it is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Then production of yogurt. That uses two microorganisms. One is Lactobacillus, the other one is Streptococcus. So here they have given Lactobacillus bulgaricus. Evolving of biogas. Biogas is methane, so you can remember it is Methanococcus. And the coir industry. What is the microorganism? Here it is given Bacillus coccurus. And finally, extraction of metals, that is from low grade ores, that is Thiobacillus ferroxidans. So those are the microorganisms. So were you able to connect them correctly? I am sure you were. So with that, I will move on to the next question. Extra question 6. Again, they have given you some organisms. Structure of some microorganisms are shown below. So as you see the structures, you should know to identify them. From the cellular structure, you can identify the microorganism and the group. Write the groups of microorganisms P, Q, R, S and T. So can you do that? Yes. What is the first one? It is Paramecium. So it is a Protozoa. Then what is Q? It is Chlamydomonas. So it is an Algae. What is R? The structure itself shows it's a virus. Then what is S? It is a bacteria. And then you have to also identify what T is. What is T? T is a fungus. It is yeast. Yeast is a fungus. So write the group of microorganisms P, Q, R, S and T. Protozoa, algae, virus, bacteria, fungus. There's no confusion there, no. You can easily identify them. Now you are familiar with all the microorganisms. So then we will move on to the next one. Identify the microorganisms relevant to the following. So here they have given some properties. They want you to identify the microorganism. So here you can write the letter relevant to the microorganism. Unless they specifically say to write the letter or the name, you can either write the letter or the name. So it's easy to write the letters. Unicellular and microscopic. What are unicellular and microscopic? Protozoans are unicellular and microscopic. Bacteria are unicellular and microscopic. So P and S. Can do photosynthesis. What can do photosynthesis? Algae. So it is Q. Can multiply only inside the living cells. What is that? You are very sure it is the virus. So it's R. Uses cilia for locomotion. Again P. P is a protozoa, that is amoeba, that is paramecium, that uses cilia for locomotion. And finally, used in bakery products. What is that? T, that is Saccharomyces. So it's T. Now are these correct? Did you understand how to answer the questions? Okay. Then I will move on to the next one. Extra question 7. Select the most suitable answer from within the brackets for the statements given below. So you have to select the answer and write it in the space provided. Answers are virus, Salvinia, Griseofulvin, hepatitis B, bioleaching, Alexander Fleming, fungus and bacteria. That's one answer. Polio, bioremediation and compost. So let's look at the statements. The antibiotic penicillin was discovered by the scientist. Who is that? Alexander Fleming. You should write the correct spelling. Alexander Fleming. Then the next one. Space can only be observed through the electron microscope. Again, you know it has to be the virus. Virus can only be observed through the electron microscope. Dash are the group of organisms used in the production of antibiotics. There are two groups. What are they? The fungus and bacteria. So here it has to be fungus and bacteria are the group of organisms used in the production of antibiotics. Then the fourth one, the organic matter in compost are often decomposed by what? That again by fungus and bacteria. So here also fungus and bacteria. The fifth one, the fungus alternaria is used to control the aquatic weed. What is given here? You know the answer, Salvinia. Aquatic weed, Salvinia. This question continues. So the next one, again you can see the answers there. Sixth one, blank is an antibiotic used to kill fungus. What is the antibiotic? Griseofulvin. Griseofulvin is an antibiotic used to kill fungus. Seventh one, vaccination given against blank is made from weakened microbes. Now look at the answers. There is hepatitis B and polio. What is made from weakened microbes? It is polio. Vaccination given against polio is made from weakened microbes. An effective technology for metal extraction from low-grade ores using microbes is known as, again there are two similar answers. That's how they give. Bioleaching and bioremediation. What is the correct one? It is bioleaching. Bioleaching. The technology used to remove environmental pollutants using microorganisms is known as, that is bioremediation. 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 Then the last one, vaccination for blank is an example of vaccines made from body parts of microbes using genetic engineering. What is that? Hepatitis B. So, hepatitis B. So, were you all able to fill all the blanks? Yes. So, you saw fungus and bacteria, they were answers for two questions. The same way, there are similar polio and hepatitis B, those are diseases. So, you have to select the correct one. And bioleaching and bioremediation, again you should know what they are. So that is how you answer questions like this. So with that, I will move on to the next one. Extra question 8. Write 3 types of pathogenic microorganisms. So you know the 5 types of microorganisms. Out of those, there are 4 who can become pathogenic or who act as pathogens. What are they? Viruses, fungus, bacteria and protozoa. So you can write any 3. I am going to write the answer here. We'll say virus, bacteria and protozoa. You can also write fungus. Then the next one. What are vectors? What are vectors? The organisms like mosquitoes and flies who carry the pathogen to the host. So those are what we call as vectors. So here we can say organisms that carry the pathogen to the host. So if you like, you can also write examples: fly, mosquito. Those are examples of vectors. Then the next one. Explain the term host. So what is a host? Again, that is another organism that provides its body either inside or outside as a substrate for the growth of pathogenic microorganism. So that is a host. So here organism that provides its body, in bracket I'll say inside or outside, as substrate for the growth of pathogenic microorganism. So here explain the term host, organism that provides its body inside or outside as substrate for the growth of the pathogenic microorganism. So did you all write the similar answer? I am sure you would have written it. So with that, I will move on to the next question. Extra question 9. How is antibiotics useful to us? So how is antibiotics useful to us? Useful to man. We take antibiotics either as a cure or to prevent diseases caused by what microorganisms? Bacteria and fungus. So that is how we use antibiotics. Antibiotics are used to treat or prevent infections caused by pathogenic microorganism. So antibiotics are used to treat or prevent infections caused by pathogenic microorganisms. So if you get fever, so then you take antibiotics to get relief from fever. Or sometimes if you have the tendency to get fever, then you might need to take antibiotics. But remember students, you have to always get the doctor's advice, medical advice before you use antibiotics. Then the next question. We will look at the next question. What is the unfavorable effect of antibiotics? So just now I mentioned you have to get the medical advice. Why is that? If you use it without proper advice, without proper instruction, then antibiotics can cause side effects. So that is why you have to be careful. That is the unfavorable effect of antibiotics. Unfavorable effect of antibiotics. So have to say they can cause side effects when taken without proper medical advice. And also students, this is something that you have to remember. There is one more issue. Now I have mentioned before, there are some microorganisms inside our body. For example, the E. coli bacteria in our intestine. That is good to us because it synthesizes vitamin B, which is good for us. You would have heard about prebiotics. So there it is related to this E. coli bacteria. When you take antibiotics, the antibiotic is a tablet. So that doesn't know what is the good microorganism and what is the bad microorganism. So the antibiotic will destroy, because it's a chemical, it will destroy any organism, microorganism that is present inside your body. So while the pathogenic microorganism is being destroyed, the good necessary microorganisms also get destroyed. So because of that also, you have to be careful. Whenever you take antibiotics, it has to be according to your requirement. So it has to be taken with proper medical advice. So I will include that other point as well. Antibiotics can destroy the favorable microorganisms like E. coli. From our body. So that is also an unfavorable effect of antibiotics. So two things, it can cause side effects. The other problem is it can destroy the wanted microorganisms. So you have to be careful. I am repeating this again and again because you need to take antibiotics whenever it's necessary, but with proper medical advice. You have to keep that in mind always. So I am sure you wrote these answers. With that, now we will move on to the next question. Extra question 10. Write the pathogen that causes the disease given below. So some diseases are given to you. You have to write the pathogen. The first one is dengue. What causes dengue? It is caused by a virus. If you write the group, that is more than enough. Tuberculosis, that is caused by bacteria. Leishmaniasis, what is that? That is a protozoa. Then we have pityriasis. Pityriasis is caused by a fungus. Then the next one is common cold. That is by virus. Malaria again, it's a protozoan or protozoa. You can remember. Then amoebiasis, that is also protozoa. So these are the diseases and the pathogens that cause the diseases. Dengue virus, tuberculosis bacteria, leishmaniasis protozoa, pityriasis fungus, common cold virus, malaria protozoa, and amoebiasis protozoa. With that, I will move on to the next one, the second question. Write how the pathogen that causes the above disease enters the human body. So here we will have to write down the way the pathogens enter the human body. Now you can remember, students, there is a way how the pathogens are brought to us and the way it enters our body. So for example, if you can remember, if we take the common cold, it spreads through air, but it enters the body through the respiratory system. So here the question is, write how the pathogen that causes the above disease enters the human body. So that is what you have to write. So dengue virus, the vector is mosquito. When mosquito bites through the skin, the disease enters. So here dengue through skin. So that is how it enters. Then tuberculosis. Tuberculosis enters through the respiratory system. Respiratory system. I am not going to write it as through again. So this is how it enters the body. Then leishmaniasis. Leishmaniasis, it is a protozoan. It enters through open wounds in the skin. So open wounds on skin. Then we have pityriasis. The next one is pityriasis. Pityriasis enters by contact. So again through skin. Skin by contact. Then the next one, common cold. Again through respiratory system. Then we have malaria. Malaria, that is again by protozoa. How does it enter our body? When mosquitoes bite, they are the vectors through the skin. So here again through skin. And finally, amoebiasis. Amoebiasis is related to the digestive system. So it enters through the mouth, or you can say through the digestive system. Through digestive system. So these are the methods by which these pathogens enter our body. So first one is dengue, that is through the skin due to mosquito bite. Tuberculosis through the respiratory system. Leishmaniasis, open wounds on skin. Pityriasis, skin by contact. Common cold through respiratory system. Malaria again through skin due to mosquito bites. And amoebiasis through the digestive system. So with that, I will move on to the next question. Extra question 11. Mark the sentences given below as correct or false. So you have to put a tick if it's correct and wrong if it's false. So the first one. Bacteria and protozoans are unicellular microorganisms. That's correct. Both are microorganisms and they are both unicellular. Second one. Genes of the fungus Erwinia uridovora is used in developing golden rice enriched with vitamin A. Is that correct? No, it's false. Why is that? Erwinia uridovora is used, but it is not a fungus. It is a bacteria. So, because of that, this sentence is false. Third one. Microorganisms can survive well under normal and extreme environmental conditions. That is correct. So, that is why we say they can basically survive in every environment of the earth. All the normal as well as hostile extreme environments. Then the fourth one. Rhizobium is a free-living bacteria that is used as biofertilizer. Is it correct? No, it's false. Why? Because Rhizobium is not used as the biofertilizer. Because Rhizobium lives in the root nodules of legume plants and it fixes nitrogen. But what is the microorganism that acts as the biofertilizer? That is Azotobacter. So here this is wrong. Free-living bacteria is Azotobacter that is used as the biofertilizer. So then Saccharomyces is a fungus that is utilized in the production of bread. That is of course correct. Saccharomyces is the fungus utilized in the production of bread as well as all the other bakery products also. So with that, the next bit of the question. Euglena is an algae that uses flagella for locomotion. Euglena has flagella for locomotion. That is correct. But what is the problem there? It is not an algae. It is a protozoa. So, this statement is also false. Then the seventh one. Microorganisms are used to decompose organic waste materials present in polluted water of a pond. That is correct. We use microorganisms to decompose organic waste materials. Then the eighth one. Bacteria and fungi can decompose biodegradable plastic. Is that correct? No. Why is that? Because it's only bacteria that can decompose but not fungus. So, because of that, this statement is also false. Then the ninth one. Mosquitoes are the vectors of dengue while bacteria is the pathogen. Mosquitoes are the vectors, that is correct. But this part, dengue, where bacteria is a pathogen, is wrong. Why? It is the virus that is the pathogen, dengue virus. So, this statement is also false. Then the last one. Biological weapons are harmful only to man. Is it only harmful to man? No. So, this term only. Because of that, the statement is false. It's harmful to man, plants, animals, basically all the living organisms on earth. So, therefore, that statement is wrong. Were you all able to identify the statements as correct or false? I'm sure you would have done it correctly. So, with that, I'm going to move on to the next one. Extra question 12. A student identified the following microorganisms as beneficial to man. answer the questions based on those organisms. You do not need to write the scientific name. So here they have given it like a chart, the microorganisms beneficial to man. So you can answer it saying A, B, C and D. Why? It has been given as microorganism A is Methanococcus, then B is Streptococcus, C Pseudomonas, D Lactobacillus, E is Penicillium and F is Rhizobium. So you have to relate it to the questions. Now we will look at the questions. Write the microorganisms used in the following processes. So from here, for production of yogurt, what is the microorganism? Can you all identify from this? You can see B is Streptococcus and D Lactobacillus. So both of them are used for production of yogurt. So here I can write it as B and D. B this one, D this one. Then we have used for the decomposition of oil layer on the ocean. Can you remember what that organism is? What is it? Can you identify it from here? You can see organism C, Pseudomonas. So here it has to be C. Then the third one, production of biogas. What is used for the production of biogas? You know it is Methanococcus. How do you know that? You can remember methane is biogas. So Methanococcus is involved in the production of biogas. Used in cultivation lands in order to increase the yield of legumes. So what is the organism? A bacteria that has to fix nitrogen. So from here, if you select, it is going to be Rhizobium. So this is going to be F. And production of antibiotics. You can see that is microorganism E, that is Penicillium. So here it is going to be E. We have included all the answers. B Streptococcus and Lactobacillus for production of yogurt. Then decomposition of oil layer on the ocean, that is Pseudomonas C. Production of biogas, Methanococcus, that is A. And used in cultivation lands in order to increase the yield of legumes, that is Rhizobium. And production of antibiotics, that is Penicillium. So those are the relevant microorganisms for these processes. I am sure you were able to identify them. You have to always remember the microorganisms related to each industrial process or agricultural process. So with that, I will move on to the extra question 13. Identify the group of microorganisms A, B and C given in the figure below. So you need to identify the group only. What is A? You can see it is amoeba. So what is the group? It is a protozoan. So here we can say it is a protozoan. Then B. What is B? Euglena. So you know that is also protozoa. Then what is C? It is an algae. It is Chlamydomonas. So it is an algae. Then the next one. One of the above microorganism causes disease to man. What is the disease? So here look at the question. One organism causes disease and they have asked the disease only, not the organism. So from this you know this is amoeba, this causes amoebiasis. So that is what you have to write here, amoebiasis. Then the next one. What is the structure present in both organisms B and C? What is the structure present in both? Here you can see the hair-like structure. What is that? It is the flagellum or flagella. When there are more, we call it flagella. So here, since they have a structure, we can say flagellum. What is the use of that structure? What is the use? It is used for locomotion. It is used for locomotion. So that is the use of flagella. I am sure you were able to answer these questions. There's no way you can go wrong, no students. You can easily identify the organisms and then you can write the answers related to them. So with that, then I'll move on to the 14th question, extra question 14. Fill in the table given below. So here you can see special features of microorganisms are given and they want you to write the microorganism. First one, uses pseudopodia for locomotion. What is that microorganism? It is amoeba. Then algae that is not visible to the naked eye. What is that? That is the phytoplankton. Phytoplankton. Third one, group of microorganisms that can be used as biofertilizers. What are they? They are the bacteria. You don't have to write each example or the name. You have to say bacteria. Why? They have asked for the group bacteria. Then fourth one, electron microscopic organisms. You know that. They are the viruses. And the last one, unicellular or multicellular organisms that thrive on moist substrate. So two features. It can be either unicellular or multicellular and it thrives on moist substrate. It is the fungus. So now you can see, uses pseudopodia for locomotion, amoeba. Algae that is not visible to the naked eye, phytoplankton. Group of microorganisms that can be used as biofertilizers, bacteria. Electron microscopic organism, virus. And unicellular or multicellular organism that thrive on moist substrates and environments, fungus. So those are the different types of microorganisms relevant to these special features. I am sure you would have been able to write these down. With that, I am going to move on to the next one. Extra question 50. Steps of an activity carried out in the school laboratory to prepare yogurt is given below. So you can see the picture here and you know the different steps involved in that process. First one. In step 1, what should be the range of the thermometer? Second, what is removed in step 2? Third, identify the substances X and Y added in step 3. What is the purpose of adding yogurt culture to the mixture? What should be the temperature of the mixture when yogurt culture is added? For how long do you need to refrigerate the mixture? So those are the questions. So I'm sure you can write the answers down quickly and then you can compare with my answers. Now I will move on to the first one. Steps of an activity carried out in the school laboratory to prepare yogurt is given below. In step 1, what should be the range of the thermometer reading? So this is step 1 when you heat the mixture, that is milk. What should be the temperature range? It has to be between 88 degrees Celsius and 95 degrees Celsius. That is the temperature range. What is removed in step 2? What happens here? When you cool the mixture, the cream comes on the surface of the milk. So you remove the cream. So cream of milk. Cream of milk. The next one. Identify the substances X and Y added in step 3. So what do you add here? X and Y. You need to add sugar and gelatin. So in step 3, we add sugar. That is, you can't really say what is X and Y, so we can just say sugar, gelatin. The two substances X and Y. Then I will move on to the next one. What is the purpose of adding yogurt culture to the mixture? Why do we add yogurt culture? So that the microorganisms, lactobacillus and streptococcus are introduced to the mixture. So that is to provide the bacteria needed for the production of yogurt to the mixture. Then the fifth one. What should be the temperature of the mixture when yogurt culture is added? What should be the temperature? It should be about 60 degrees Celsius. 60 degrees Celsius. And the last question. For how long do you need to refrigerate the mixture? For how long? About 6 to 7 hours. So we can say 6 to 7 hours. Now all these are very simple questions related to the production of yogurt. I am sure I explained this process to you. You would have done it at home, so you know what happens there and you can remember each step. And you know why we do each step. So I'm sure you would have been able to answer all these questions. Okay, students. So with that, I have come to the end of this lesson. So this is your first lesson of the grade 9 science textbook, Microorganisms and their applications, or applications of microorganisms. So under that, we discuss the different types of microorganisms, then their beneficial effects as well as the harmful effects. So I am sure you have a very good understanding now. But with that, you have to keep on reading the textbook, listen to the discussion to clear all your doubts, and then you have to practice answering as many questions as possible so that you're very competent to answer any type of question.